Hey, I'm Cyclon. The idle mods have been data mined, at least we assume they are correct. There are a lot of very interesting idols, so not specifically the last 2 hours, but the last few hours, before the last 2 hours, I have been deep diving into the available mod pool, and I have made different setups for almost all the different league mechanics we have. Not everything is done, some stuff needs to be tested, some might be categorized in a tier by me where I think it's correct, where it's not supposed to be, so this is by no means perfect, but a link to this and the idle list from PvPDB is going to be linked in the description. If you want to take a look, feel free to. I'm just going to give a very quick example of via the S tier strategies, what I think are going to be the most powerful strategies and why, and then I'm going to send you on your way and you can enjoy the league. So, the way you want to read this is, I have a legend added to the right. Smalls will be marked blue as a 1x1s. Mediums will be marked as yellow as a 1x2 or 2x1s. 1x3 or 3x1s going to be marked green and are going to be large. And categorized as massives are the 2x2s. So I have formed the tablet we have with these spots are permanently locked. The other ones you can unlock. Based on assuming you have everything unlocked, you're gonna have a layout something like this. And then I added based on color and based on size, I've thrown them in there, and I've written down on the left what you want, how many you want to have, and the modifiers exactly the ones you need. So you can copy these modifiers directly over into the trade tool, hopefully if they're going to be added that way. And you can click on them and read them up here at what the full line is. If I would have stretched out every full line, the page would have been endlessly wide. So for example, Harbinger, which I league started actually 325 and I think is going to be absolutely busted for this event, wants to have an Eye of the Djinn. Now, there is a very big note on the Eye of the Djinn. The Eye of the Djinn is likely the most powerful idol we're gonna have, because it's something we never had before. Unlike the nodes, everything else was just like the nodes we have on Atlas, or adjusted versions of them. This is absolutely busted. Scarabs have 50% increased effect on your maps per empty map device slot. For example, if you have a map device and you're gonna be only using map plus 3 scarabs, this idol gives each scarab 100% increased effectiveness. Now, in standard, I only have a 5-slot device, but in League or overall, you can have a 6-slot device right now. But basically, you just have 2 to 3 free slots and you get 100 to 150% increased effectiveness of your idols, which is absolutely massive, which is why I assume this thing is gonna be beyond rare and beyond expensive. If you cannot afford this, I've added scarabs you want gonna be using. If you don't have an eye, you just use the scarabs marked with an asterisk for the strategies. On later strategies where you just want to go regardless, you can just not use an eye and use the scarabs, or you use the eye and you don't use those scarabs. So for Harbinger, we want to use one 2x2 idol that has currency shards dropped by Harbingers in your maps can drop as currency items instead. This is a flat chance. We cannot scale this with more, so we don't need more massive idols. We then want the prefix, preferably with increased effect of explicit modifiers per quality, because this affects other idle modifiers. And we would preferably have your maps contain additional Harbinger. Then on medium ones, we want to have the chance to contain additional Harbinger, which goes over 100%. If we have 200% to contain additional Harbinger, we're going to have 2 Harbingers on our map. If we have 300% chance to contain additional Harbinger, we're going to have 3 Harbingers on the map, and so on. And then we want to have 12 mediums, so they with a 60-80% chance to have an Harbinger, and 40 to 60% chance to drop an additional stack of currency shards, because we want to have as many currency shards as we can, so that with the Regency Scarab, and which then hopefully is doubled, or we need the Regency and half of our Harbingers are going to be doubled, we're going to see we're just going to see a lot of shards, and by seeing a lot of shards, we're going to be finding a good amount of fracturing shards, and hopefully also mirror shards eventually. And then we have the 3 small spots plus the 4th on the unique one left, where we can have cooldown recovery rate, and recovery rate for Harbinger makes them spawn monsters faster, which means monsters that spawn faster means you kill monsters faster, which means the Harbinger dies quicker and your map time is reduced. Another really great example for a good strategy is because every idea you get is gonna be amplifying you. So you, again, preferably would like an Eye of the Djinn. If it's too expensive, just grab a 30-second of the other ones, where we just have monster pack size influenced by the zeroing Exarch in your maps have increased, or monster packs influenced by the zeroing Exarch in your maps have increased pack size. We scale as much as we can on this. If we also can, we would like to have increased scarabs found on our maps, or increased maps contain more monster packs consisting of difficult and rewarding monsters. Those are T70 monsters, they just have a better loot multiplier. They are decent to have, but the main focus is this mod. And then if we combine it with an influence scarab of the hordes, horn of the bloodlines, which might be expensive, we want this, and monstrous lineage, we can get crazy amounts. Now, if we use an Eye of the Djinn and just horn bloodlines and influence of the hordes, we would have 286% pack size and 375% increased magic monsters just from the idols and the scarabs alone. It can be absolutely massive and very powerful, but of course, this could also result in just a map giving you 1000 chaos, 100 chaos, there we go with the wording, or 1000 alterations, so it could be a lot of clicking, but it could be very, very powerful and result in a market needing to adjust to the strategy. Now, I have on the right, I'm pretty sure I haven't mentioned it, is a total maximum stats, assuming a max rolled relics, and the scarabs, and likely an Eye of the Djinn. If the Eye of Djinn is included, this assumes the total max stats that you can get. Now, most of the cases you will not have perfectly rolled relics, or you will not have an Eye of the Djinn, so your stats won't be exactly like this, but it can get close to this. And this just is there to show the absurdity of the strategy that it can achieve. One last strategy I want to mention is Strongboxes. Strongboxes has the most powerful modifiers you can get. Let me just go through the numbers. If you have an Eye of the Djinn, if you have 4 massive idols with Strongbox open your maps have 9% chance to be openable again, and Strongbox in your map are at least rare, which only one of them needs to be. The other ones can have also suffixes. Then we have the prefix increased effect of explicit modifiers in your maps, which isn't included in the total max stats because it starts to get complicated. And increased quantity of items found, which is also not included here, but could be very good. Then you have one large, which divination cards from Strongbox and currency from Strongbox are duplicated. And then you also have, of course, additional Strongbox as a prefix. And then on the small ones, which you're gonna fill the rest of it, gonna have chance to contain a Strongbox, which again will add up to additional Strongboxes. And then Strongbox have increased chance to be Arcanist and Diviners. So this will result in a 58 if you use an Eye of the Djinn and a Containment and Hidden Compartment Scarab. Your map's gonna be full with Strongboxes. They're gonna be very likely to be either currency or divination card reward boxes. They're gonna be at least rare. They're gonna have a 58.5% chance to be reopened. You're gonna have at least 7 additional Strongboxes. Then you're gonna be almost guaranteed to just get a ton of currency and a ton of divine from these. And even if they don't roll specifically with currency and divines, if they contain any div cards or currency, those are gonna be duped. You're also going to be getting a lot of enemies around them that you can then kill and get also more stuff from them. But this will just result in an absurd amount of currency and divination cards that is just going to be always liquidable. And you're going to get a good amount of scarabs as well. And it just sounds absolutely powerful. With perfect idols, this might just be the strongest strategy. And we're going to be ignoring this part up here. You can read this at your own time, because there we get into the range of unethical farming strategies. Well, one isn't even a farming strategy, but regardless. Video is long enough. Feel free to read at your own pace. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm going to be live streaming the event. You can ask me on YouTube, you can ask me on Discord, and I will try to answer as quickly as possible. All this being said, have a wonderful day and a lot of fun in Legacy of Phrecia. Goodbye.